Hey guys, it's Flip, and in today's video what I'm going to do is go over each of the Ego Select Cut blades. I'm going to explain the difference in what they are and what they do, and then I'm going to do a little demonstration of each one in use. Let's get into it. Alright, so this is the Select Cut system by Ego, and you always have two blades attached like this. You always have the upper blade and one of the three lower blades installed. The lower blade I have installed right now is the extended Runtime blade, and then you also have the Mulching Blade, otherwise known as a gator blade because of the teeth right here, and then you have a high lift bagging blade. So we'll start with the extended Runtime blade since this is the one I already have installed on the mower. And this blade is basically made to maximize your cutting time with the battery. That's why it's called the extended Runtime blade. It's not going to use as much battery power as the other two blades. The flip side of that, it's not going to do some of the things those blades do. It's going to give you a pretty good cut, but it's not going to mulch up grass clippings. It's not going to give you a whole lot of suction, but it is going to give you extended run time with your battery. This blade is also better suited for people who cut their grass frequently. It's not really meant for overgrown grass that's super long. So when you're just doing little maintenance cuts and cutting your grass frequently, this is a good blade to use. So let me show this one to you in use. I'm going to put the side discharge chute on for this blade. And just so you know, I'll have all these blades linked under the video as well as all my other videos about this mower. So let's go ahead and put this on. So here I'll give you a look at how that did. Right here I've got a little flat spot where there's always some deer laying in the backyard, but other than that, looks pretty good. Again, not going to give you the suction of a high lift blade or chop it up as fine as a mulching blade, but overall not a bad job. And then here's just another quick look at those same two strips walking up the hill just to give you a different angle. And here I'm just going to cut two more strips with that same blade on the other side of the yard, just in case you're having a hard time seeing that. So let's take a closer look at those two cuts. Again, this blade is going to give you longer run times with the battery, but it's not going to quite give you the quality of cut. Right here you see some longer grass clippings kind of laying in piles. It's not going to chop those up into finer pieces like a mulching blade would. Again, here's another big pile of longer grass clippings. It's going to get the job done, but the quality is probably not going to be quite up to par with the other two blades. So let's check those two out. So here I'm going to switch the blades out. Now if you would like to see a detailed video on how to do that, I will put a link to my video on that topic in the corner of the screen right now and under the video. Alright, so next, this is the high lift bagging blade, and it is meant to be used with the bag obviously, so we will throw that on here in just a second before we demonstrate it. But this blade is meant to create suction up off the ground to really pull the grass blades up and then cut it. These are good blades for long grass. Let's say if you've missed a cut or something like that, or you need to take it down a little lower, these will work just fine for that, and you can bag it. These are high quality blades. They do use the most battery power of any of the blades, so that is one little downside, but overall there's a great blade. Again, I'll put a link to these under the video in the description if you want to check them out. So let's check these out in action. So here's a closer look at those two cuts. So the first thing you'll notice is that you don't see grass clippings laying on the ground like you do with the extended Runtime blade. First reason being, these are high quality blades that do a good job with suction. Here's some grass clippings laying in the first two rows that you won't see in these second two rows. And then the other reason is obviously that you are bagging those clippings. And here's one last look at how those high lift blades did along the fence here. Now let's take a peek in that bag and check out those clippings. You can see how it did just with those few passes. Again, you're going to see it did a good job sucking up all that grass. But the clippings aren't chopped up really fine. like you would see with the mulching blade, which we'll check out here in just a second. But bag did a good job. Good blade. So now let's switch over to that mulching blade and we'll take a closer look at it. And lastly, this is the mulching blade, or gator blade as some people like to call it, and to use that you need to put the mulching insert into the back of the mower to help keep the grass clippings up under the deck. So the mulching blade is used without the discharge chute or the bag, and it's basically meant to circulate the grass clippings around underneath the deck and chop them up into little fine pieces while it's doing that, and then just sprinkle it back onto the lawn, and it basically acts as a fertilizer and puts nutrients into your lawn. It's best used for maintenance cuts, but those grass clippings will really help keep the soil damp and cool. They do use more battery life than the extended runtime blades, and they're best for grass that's not super long. But these are my preferred blades of choice. This is always on here for me. This is really just my go-to blade that I leave on the mower. So let's check it out in action. So here I give you a closer look at that mulch cut, and again, these are my preferred blades of choice, just because you don't end up with big piles of clippings on the ground, and you don't have a bag full of clippings to dispose of, not to mention it's good for the yard. And then here's a last look at how those blades did over by the fence. So hopefully this video helped you out as far as learning about the difference between the Ego Select Cut blades. If it did, please hit the thumbs up button for me and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.